Hisuian Zoroark may or may not make a big splash in the meta when it arrives in home, but one Pokemon that will make a splash is the one I can't wait to bring into Scarlet and Violet, Hisuian Samurott. Why? Because this boy slices and dices through Pokemon like tissue paper.
Is there more to us than the words we say, the games we play? Can we know that we're not dreaming?
So, Samurott, as a Pokemon, that has a very cool theme going on here. Can tell you that right now. But, it suffers from what a lot of earlier generation starters suffer from. A noticeable lack of good abilities to go with their stats. What this means is that Samurott's stats make it a Pokemon that can work as a mixed attacker, able to blend physical and special attacks with ease since both offensive stats are nearly equal. And its ability, Shell Armor, gives it protection against all critical hits that may be thrown against it, meaning that the opponent can't just get lucky and get rid of it via a critical hit. Other than Shell Armor and being a mono water starter, though, Samurott also gets access to the Torrent ability, an ability all water starters get which boosts their water-based attacks by 50% if they reach a low enough health. The downside to this, however, is that Samurott struggles in the speed and defensive categories, with only a 70 base speed and an average of 85 and 70 defense and special defensive stat respectively. Samurott struggles big time to get anything done before it potentially gets destroyed by more quicker mons, and only a healthy defensive investment with its highly respectable HP will allow it the ability to fight back. Hisuian Samurott, on the other hand, takes what Unovan Samurott lacks and boosts it to more respectable and fearsome levels, becoming more nimble at the cost of some minor loss of defensive power for a much faster and more respectable speed, and probably one of the best abilities a starter could have since pre-nerf Protein Greninja. Unlike its Unovan counterpart, Hisuian Samurott has been hardened by the struggles in Hisui, where Pokemon fought ferociously and has mastered the art of cutting through the opposition with its mighty blades. What I mean is that it gains access to the Sharpness ability instead of Shell Armor, trading in defensive protection for increased offensive pressure, which most trainers actually prefer. And in a meta defined by might or stall, Samurott will cut through the competition with ease. Now, just so we all know and we're all on the same page, Sharpness is an ability first introduced in Scarlet and Violet, and currently only one Pokemon has access to it as of me writing this script, Gallade. What it does is that it increases the power of slicing-based moves by a whopping 50%. In other words, any slicing-based move gains an increase in power by half of what it normally is. And this makes any Pokemon with access to it a major threat with the right training. Currently, there are 14 moves that benefit from Sharpness as an ability which can be learned by Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. And of these 14 moves, 10 can be learned by Hisuian Samurott, with the most powerful ones being Sacred Sword, X-Scissor, Razor Shell, Night Slash, Slash, and finally its signature move, Ceaseless Edge. Now, while Night Slash might be the stronger alternative of the two moves when Sharpness's damage boosting effect is brought into play, Ceaseless Edge is by far the more powerful move given what it does in exchange for a 10% accuracy drop when compared to its Night Slash, as well as the 5-point drop in damage output, in that when the move connects, it also sets up a free layer of spikes on the opponent's side of the field. Keep that in mind. A damaging move that also sets up an entry hazard. All other entry hazards often sacrifice any damage to set up those entry hazards for the long-term damage over the course of a battle. But a move that deals damage as well as setting up entry hazards is similar to the G-Max moves of Sword and Shield. According to Bulbapedia and Cerebi, Ceaseless Edge is a move that deals damage and aims to deal a critical strike, while also setting up a layer of spikes in Scarlet and Violet. In Legends Arceus, I believe this means it has a higher chance to deal a critical hit, so I am assuming this also applies in Scarlet and Violet, while the spikes are instead applied for 4 turns on the Pokemon that Ceaseless Edge connects with. That means that while Ceaseless Edge and Night Slash both have a higher crit chance, Ceaseless Edge can do more long-term damage at the same time as dealing its base damage thanks to the spikes it lays, making Hisuian Samurott a massive danger to any team in VGC doubles, let alone any singles format. At the same time, since it learned Sacred Sword, this means it can cut through Pokemon trying to boost their defenses, and with access to stab water moves that also gain the benefit of sharpness, all these factors combine to make Samurott a terrifying sight if no immediate answer is had. Now, just to put into perspective, here are some damage calcs with some popular Pokemon in the meta at this time as of me writing the script. Samurott with the Fighting Terra outspeeds and one-shots Gholdengo if it Terra steals, and Samurott goes for a Sacred Sword. And if it doesn't, Ceaseless Edge is going to wreck it. Hisuian Samurott using Sacred Sword almost one-shots Dondozo if it Terra Fighting, and Dondozo uses the Terra Steel, again with a Choice Scarf, and if it's banded, it one-shots, and two-shots Dondozo if it isn't Terra Steel if banded. And unless Garganacl has a Death Wish, it must Terra from Rock and go Grass or Water to survive Hisuian Samurott's onslaught. Now, Paldean Water Tauros can only one-shot with close combat if it's choice banded, and even if intimidated, Samurott will still deal respectable damage with a Terra Fighting Sacred Sword. As for Fire Tauros, well, even intimidated, Samurott can almost one-shot with a slap to the face and a Terra Fighting to protect against close combat. Baxcalibur, unless it Terras to something that either is neutral or resists all of Samurott's moves, as well as is fully speed invested with a max speed and nature, can die to a Terra Fighting Sacred Sword with the choice ban. Even Meowscarada has to respect the Scarfed Samurott, as unless it too is Scarfed or is using the Focus Sash, Meowscarada dies even if it Terra Grasses versus X-Scissor. Samurott is probably going to be best used as a choice user, Scarf or Banded, to ensure it deals as much damage as fast as possible before it goes down. If you bring Samurott without the Scarf or the choice band, bring it alongside a Tailwind setter and bait out or remove Intimidators so Samurott can bring its strength to fully bear against the opponent. A Terra Fighting will help remove major weaknesses Samurott has, specifically fighting and grass types. Use Samurott as a sword, either to cut through the major threats and let other Pokemon finish the job, or as the tip of your spear so it can carve its way through to victory. Just remember, pick your targets carefully, as while sharpness will cut through the competition, if swung wildly you'll find yourself hitting a brick wall and watch as your blade shatters to ignorance. I'll see you all next time. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and please tell me down below which of the Hisuian Pokemon you would like me to cover next. All these Hisuian Pokemon are awesome. I'm just gonna tell you right now, they all look very awesome. I really hope the home update arrives soon. Oh, I just want to bring them in already. They sound so awesome. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!
When you've reached the point where you can't go on, just come to me, you'll be safe from harm. If you trust in me, then I'll trust in you. There's nothing more that I need to do. If you put your hands in front of mine, we'll be shining through one at a time. Just understand.